see a Budweiser. Go ahead and hold it up.
Yes.
That was the biggest clue.
Yes, right
Doing
there.
it for Dale.
Man, it's so many gimmicks, right? I feel like they're making it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, a lot of people, you get polarizing opinions on DRS.
I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here, but sometimes the effort, it's all about the boys. You know, like, hey, you know, life sucks sometimes, and you need the boys.
iRacing kind of always has a tendency to kind of buff
Yes.
the new cars just a little bit. I'm not going to go on record saying it's because they want people to spend money on their platform and buy all the new content.
Confirmed.
But
Yes.
but
Turn one is going to be interesting. Let's see if everybody gets through it. Looks like there's a little bit of a bump there, but everybody's getting through it okay. Now into turn two, turn three. We're 3 wide right in front of them. Oh, we got cars everywhere.
Big trouble. Kingsbury, you need to work on closing this gap and then maybe play the patience game. Make sure your tires are nice and cool. Don't overuse them. And to stay there in a good position as we see a pass for the lead. Hutcherson making the big move into turn one, young wall.
Like Kingsbury's trying to go around the out or the inside, but it turns into the outside, and there's contact. Marwan did not leave him any room.
Yeah,
oh no!
You get together.
Oh no!
Where he should be.
So what happened there, Mike? What did he do? Did he suck his tire off?
I'm gonna go mute now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 5 of SimCAR. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon. I'm going to be one of the commentators in the booth today, joined by Mr. Randall McGrew, and locked away at the director's controls, Mr. Adam Thompson. As we have a look at the track temp today, you're looking about 83 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are going to be at Mount Panorama Circuit, affectionately known as Bathurst. It's going to be an interesting ride over the mountain. Randall, why don't you give us your thoughts on this, sir?
This is one of my favorite tracks of all time. And growing up a racing fan, I've seen a lot of onboard footage. Bathurst was the first time I ever watched an onboard lap and was frightened.
That is 100% valid, sir. Definitely the room for error is very much as you go over the mountain. There isn't really any room for error. The runoff, optional at best. But I'm going to say it's definitely going to be one of those tracks where, you've really got to get the passes done in the crucial parts of the track. So as we can see right now, this is one of the key passing opportunities as you head down the mountain straight. You've just left Hell's Corner and head towards Quarry Bend. That's what's going to be coming up next. You want to carry as much speed as you can as you head under the Peddler's Bridge. And, we disappeared again. Yeah. Having a few technical issues here, ladies and gentlemen. For authenticity, I can stutter a little bit as well, just to keep up. But just bear with us for just a few moments there, and we will get that rectified very, very shortly. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're looking forward to this. Obviously, we've got some familiar names to see today. We got Reynolds up there. I seen him just a moment ago. Lambert is in here as well. Elias Roman, he's here. Quite a few regulars as well. But Randall, tell us a little bit. What would be your strategy for this kind of race?
Well, it really depends on where you start, and qualifying is going to be exceptionally important here. You want to start towards the front of that field so you have as little traffic to deal with as possible on those opening laps, and hopefully stay out of any big incident that occurs on the mountain in the opening stages of the race. It's very prone to getting blocked up as you're running through places like the cutting and Quarry Bend, and one car spinning ends up being ends up turning the entire track into a parking lot oftentimes in some of those spots. So the further ahead you are, the less likely you are to get caught into that traffic jam.
We are just going to have a little bit of a quick update there, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just going to be back after this very short break. Just give us a few minutes to get the... Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Our apologies there for the technical delays. I've now started stuttering rather than the broadcast, but as you can see here, the guys are currently putting in a little bit of qualifying time. There's about a minute left to go, and currently, as it stands right now, Devon Horvath, that is, he is currently the fastest qualifier for the pros. And as we have a look at the amateur field, currently the fastest qualifier for them is John Ebersol. I believe he is actually leading the amateur point standings as well. We might get into that a little bit more later. With just 30 seconds left to go, these guys have really got to do everything they can to try and get in that final time, that final lap.
This is the closing stages is probably the best time to set a flying lap. Right now, track temperature not very high, fuel loads will be light. This is going to be the ultimate time to get that final thrust in to try to get up at the front end of the field. We're watching right here with Nasir, and he's currently stuck in that midfield. That's really not where he wants to be. He's rushing really close to that wall and looks like he just runs out of time, not going to be able to set another fast lap.
Well, the cutoff is very aggressive here with that session, but that's good news in some ways because it means, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be getting ready for the grid. And Devon Horvath, he's going to be starting on pole position. The Canadian driver gets in the number 29 car. Blake Reynolds in second with Elias Roman in third. Steven Savigny in fourth with Ryan O'Connor taking up the third row with Roman Ratu in fifth and sixth respectively. Brandon Lambert takes seventh with Casey O'Brien in eighth. Paul Mikolajczyk is in ninth with Murphy Nichols in 10th. Matt Kingsbury takes 11th and Ray Kingsbury, his brother, in 12th.
Brian Sohn is going to come in 13th with John Ebersol starting 14th and on the amateur division pole with in that 221 machine. Number P15 is going to be Justin Nasir, and 16th will be Colin Allen. Anthony Flores and Josh Stoltz will start behind them with Peter McDade in 19th, Kevin Bogart in 20th. Tim Brokaw will be starting 21st, and Marwin Mofta. Words are hard today. Marwin Mofta in 22nd. Rob Edgel will be in 23rd with Jeff Johnson in 24th.
As we have a look at 25th, is going to be Josh Ondo in the number 19 car. Alex Hillman in 26th with Travis De Flumer in 27th with Jason Lynn in 28th. And Joshua Suski, he closes up the field in 29th. Well, the cars are currently getting to the grid. And I must say, what an eclectic group of cars. So many beautiful colors, ladies and gentlemen. And definitely a few cars to look at. 29 field grid, that is going to be absolutely crazy going over the mountain. And I think this is going to be one of those times where I try to remember what my iRacing mentor taught me. And that is low risk, high reward. Now, going into this situation, do you want to try and get to the front of the pack? Do you want to try and leapfrog and get away from everybody else? Do you want to be at the back and just kind of give yourself that little bit of time so that way, you can react and, correct yourself if there is a big incident, but potentially lose the head field? So many different ways you could play this.
really you have to take what traffic gives you if you're mired in the midfield and back. If you're right at the tail end of the field, definitely want to lay back just a little bit. But if you find yourself in that midfield, it's going to be a traffic jam, and you just got to work together with the cars around you to make sure everybody gets through there safe, because the last thing you want is to be collected in somebody else's mistake.
That is absolutely right. And definitely, it's like I said, there's no room for forgiveness. I think the biggest piece of advice I could give these drivers is that you got to remember, you've got cold tires right now. You've just done a couple of hot laps in qualifying, potentially even a different setup as well. You would have had less fuel load and, maybe a little bit more aggressive on the suspension setup as well. But going into this as well, you got to remember, again, low risk, high reward.
Absolutely. Normally, you would want to be really aggressive on a start, as they're about to take the green flag now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, bear with us while we try and sort this out. We're going to try and call the action as best as we can. And I'm going to do it actually from my screen for a minute. So Devin Horvath, he is there in front doing everything he can to try and pull away the field. He's already got a 2 tenths per second gap. Well, I say that now. Blake Reynolds catching up even closer now. And Reynolds is hard under attack. Actually, that's Elias Romain. There you go. It helps if I reorganize my screen. There we go. Much, much better. Horvath in front, ladies and gentlemen. Elias Romain right behind. A little bit of a gap there. Ryan D. O'Connor with Blake Reynolds. He's actually down in 4th. He's down 2 spots as it stands.
Right now, everybody looks to be pretty clean through the cutting and coming up through Quarry Bend and climbing the mountain. Don't see any smoke. Don't see any cars right now that are stopped. So far, so good on lap 1.
But everything is looking good so far. Again, these guys, they're quite experienced. I say that. It's quite a variety through the field as well. As we can see there, Devin Horvath, he has managed to get out in front. And it looks like he's already pulled away a 1.4 second gap to Elias Romain.
His Ferrari does seem to be very good on the cold tires, and he was able to take advantage. I think maybe Reynolds was feeling some pressure from Roman and Savigny around him and got caught up just a little bit trying to defend early on, and now Devin has that huge lead as they come down the hill.
Well, he's doing everything he can. He's got to remember to keep the car in check and keep the car clean at this point. It's definitely easier said than done. The mountain is known to take its prisoners, and so far, nobody being victim as of yet. But as I say that, I look through Mofta. He is down 7 positions. I do wonder what happened there. It said he pit on lap 1, but I'm not actually seeing a warning for a crash at this point.
You have to wonder maybe if he had a drive-through penalty service. We see one car going off there at the chase, trying to see who that is exactly, but it looks like a lone car off by itself. So maybe a little bit of contact going into the chase. Other than that, everybody else clean as they start the second lap.
Well, definitely a good thing to have a nice clean lap, ladies and gentlemen, and certainly easier said than done. This is definitely one of the tracks I've driven at, but certainly not one of my stronger points. And you can see there, the field already spreading out. Elias trying to catch up to Devin Horvath. That gap was 1.5 seconds. He's got it down to a second as well. O'Connor doing everything he can to hold on to the back of that number 5 car. Blake Reynolds as well he started second down into 4th place. As I see, it looks like Matt Kingsbury has just made a pass, but there is a warning that Josh Ondo has crashed. And I see as well, Steven Saveni, he's dropping down through the field, absolutely hammering down through the field.
He and Paul Michaelczyk both dropping down through the field and taking the tow. So it looks like they were both involved in the same incident. I'm going to try to find it myself to see exactly what happened.
We will get back to that for you in just a small second there, ladies and gentlemen. Randall is going to try and find that incident for you. Actually, tell you what, Randall, keep chatting a second. I'm going to try and help a little bit with the getting the stream sorted out for you guys.
And it looks like I'm on board with Paul Michaelczyk, and it looks like Savigny maybe had a little bit of help going into Griffin's Bend, which would be turn 2, or possibly just lost it on his own in the Corvette. Just loses it on his own in turn 2, spins, contacts the outside barrier, spins across the track, collects a couple people, one of those being Paul Michaelczyk, who comes off the worst for wear for it. Both of them end up taking the tow and having to end their day earlier than they would like to have. Right now, the lead out front still sitting steady at 1.4 seconds as we have a couple cars, John Ebersol and Roman Rato, going side by side into the chase. They get it worked out before the turn and come through a single file as the field continues on through lap 3. There's one car jumping into the pits. Looks like Roman Ratto is going to pit early, possibly has a penalty or is taking some repairs. Could be that he's trying to get the fuel stop done early, going to get out of traffic and try to set some quality times on his own with some clean air. But right now, that lead from Devin Horvath still sitting steady at 1.4 seconds. But right now, it's Elias Roman in second. Blake Reynolds has fallen down to fourth, and that puts Ryan O'Connor in a third place, trying to chase down the leader. And as I'm watching, it looks like Horvath is much, much quicker on the ascent up the mountain. He's already opened up the gap by 2 seconds, so his Ferrari feeling extra nimble on the climb and then giving up a little bit of that time back on the run down the mountain.
Well,